Welcome to Community Forum. My name is John Goliatino. I'm your host. This evening we're going to be doing another chapter in our visiting with the Danbury Westerners, which is a local baseball team that's equivalent to the minor league, I think, in duration. And with me tonight we've got Danny Rocco, who's a counselor with the Westerners, and Chris Miller, who's the secretary and a member of their board. I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome. Before we go on, maybe starting with Chris, if you can tell us a little bit about your background, as much as you want, or keep it at the 2 minutes, and how you got to your current position with the Westerners.
Well, being a baseball fan all my life, as a lot of us are, this was an opportunity to get involved with a local team in the non-coaching level. And I've been with the team for 14 years, and I started as the regular scorekeeper, manual scorekeeper, by the way. And I'm a retired teacher, and just when scorekeeping became computerized, my days were numbered, so I just stayed on the board as secretary and board member, but still involved with the team.
That's always been a stress, release for you, right? You know, the nation's pastime, right?
Yes, it has. Yeah, it always will be.
Yeah,
I think.
Very good.
Yeah.
And Danny?
I got started in it. I've been with the team about going on 9 years now. And I got started, I was in sports marketing for years, a few years ago, and always liked baseball, football, was always into sports. And I brought my kids down one day to Rogers Park back in 2000 and said, gee, what is this? You know, and sat down and watched the game, and my God, this is wood and bat. This is great. And I asked somebody how to get on, is there a way to get on the board or what's going on? And the next morning I got a phone call saying that, come on down, and we'd love to have you there. So I took the opportunity, and I've been with it ever since, and I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. You get to see some quality, good baseball, America's pastime.
Right. Now, is there a website? So
it's www.danburywesterners.com.
Okay.
And on there, we have our schedule posted on there for this year.
Okay. How many years is the Westerners, for those new people, since the last episode that we had, or show we had on the Westerners, how many years has it been operating?
15 years now.
Okay, and it's a college ball?
It's college ball. These players are basically the top pro picks. These are the ones that really want to go into the major leagues. We recruit from around the country. We have kids starting late fall, and generally the team is picked by October, November. There's really no tryouts. We have a coach, Jamie Shevik from Keystone College, who has done a lot of the recruiting for us, basically almost like on a major league level or a minor league level. And they will look at these kids, they'll get recommendations from their coaches, and we sign them to play.
Okay. Now, it's the one of the oldest franchises, right?
It is the oldest.
Okay.
You could call us, I guess, a charter franchise in the New England Collegiate Baseball League, and we cover all 6 states. We have teams in all 6 states, 12 teams in the league. We play a 42-game schedule, 21 home, 21 away. And to put it in another way, the 42 games are over 7 weeks time, so you're looking at very little time off for these players.
Right, from a previous show, I remember that this is at the same pace as the minor league teams. That
It is.
Yeah.
It is. The kids come home from an away game, and the next night they have a home game. The next night they have to go up to Maine to play Sanford,
right,
and back home the next night. So it's
a tough schedule.
Tough schedule.
Do you still do the thing where if people are, or is this too late to mention that, if people, in other words, the players come in from all over, you're based in Danbury, but whether or not if they got people got room in their houses, they have host a kid from coming in from St. Louis or whatever?
Yeah, no, we still have the host family program going.
Right, okay.
And what it is we're just asking families from the area here to provide a room, for them and a shower. And, it's not necessary that they have to feed them. It's always nice, and it's kind of a bonding.
Right.
A lot of these players have gone on to the major leagues, so it's kind of a great opportunity for the local families to host one of these kids because, as you say, you never know down the line that one of these kids could be playing in the major leagues.
And then the family could say 5 years down the road, that's the next Mickey Mantle, and he stayed in our, he slept in our in our bedroom.
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. But we're always looking for host families.
Yes. Okay. Now, how many teams are there again?
There are 12 teams.
12 teams
in the league.
Okay.
And as I said, all 6 states have one or more teams, and that's why it's called the New England Collegiate Baseball League.
Now, what's the mission of the? I guess you're a 501c3, right?
That's right.
The mission then is to.
The mission is to provide hometown community entertainment that is sanctioned by Major League Baseball, by the way, and wholesome summer entertainment for the community.
And where do you play your games?
At Rogers Park.
Rogers Park here.
Yeah, in Danbury.
Okay. And how many you got your schedule, but offhand,
Home
do you know?
game, there's 21 home games.
21 home
We'll
games.
start this year, June 5th.
Okay.
That
That's
night.
the opening night.
That's the opening night down there.
Okay. And then you're going to have schedules that you're
There's
going
a
to hand
schedule
out.
on our website.
But if you go to the website,
The
again.
schedule is already there. They
All
can,
right.
they can see when they are. Most of the games start at 6:30.
Okay. Now, the Westerners games are a venue for honoring the community's bravest citizens. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Are we talking about veterans and their families, and or?
Well, we have game nights
Okay.
with different sponsors. The firefighters might sponsor one game. The Exchange Club may sponsor another game. And various nonprofit organizations will sponsor a game, and it helps us and it helps them to get exposure.
I remember some conversation at Kiwanis. The Kiwanis are going to sponsor one of the games. Yeah, that's good.
Right.
And Lions, not to discriminate, but some of us belong to one as opposed to the other.
Sure.
Right. Let's see here. You got some other activities going on here. Oh yeah, we already talked about the pro players. Give us some examples of players that have come out of the Westerners that have gone on, or might be in the minor leagues that not major league, but they're in minor leagues that started in Danbury.
Okay. Number one, if you go to our website, you'll see a list of our alumni.
Okay.
And where they are, and that's kept up to date as much as
Okay.
it can be. But
Anybody that's burning, no, in your since you've been involved.
yeah, well, we've had one player that played that was brought up by the Detroit Tigers last year, Matt Joyce.
Okay.
And a player that is now a pitcher for the Washington Nationals, Jason Bergman, played with us 3 and 4 years ago, if my memory serves me right. And one of our early players back when I first joined was Joe Torre's nephew.
Wow.
And I remember him playing right field and first base, and
Good thing he was in the right field and not the left field.
that was before we raised the fences.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
and we've had some sons of major league ball players, such as Boomer Berry, who is the son of Ken Berry, if people remember him from the White Sox. Bill Naharodny, if they remember him from the Tigers. His father played for the Tigers. And then, of course, we've had, in the other teams in the league, they've had various players that have gone on, too. Maybe the most prominent alumnus of the league is now the top closer for the Minnesota Twins,
Oh, wow.
Joe Nathan. He played in the first year of our league back in '95 and has gone on to where he is now.
Got to start someplace.
And there's still a lot more
Right.
players out there, as Chris mentioned. Matt DeSalvo was with the Yankees. He's now in the Mets organization. He came out of the Danbury Westerners. And an old alumnus of ours, Mark Malaska, played with Tampa Bay and then played with the Red Sox.
Sox.
And actually, 3 years ago, they did give him a World Series ring.
How many Connecticut boys have moved on up? Have any examples of those?
Offhand, I don't know how many Connecticut natives have moved on up.
You know, I'm saying starting here, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, but you do have it on the website. Give the website
Absolutely.
one time.
It's www.danburyWesterners.com.
Okay, now, they're conveniently located at Rogers Park, which is right off of Main Street,
Right.
you know, here in Danbury. It's a lighted field,
Yes.
you know, and it's got all the amenities of a ball game. And you got both night and daytime games, or
We're doing a couple daytime games this year
Okay.
to coordinate with the summer camps in the area. We're going to invite most of the camps to come to one of our afternoon games that we're specifically doing for the kids in the area.
right.
to bring
Now,
them
you're
down.
mainly at nighttime because these kids come in, and when you're not, they try to pick up pin money, right?
Right, exactly.
You know, so they're not only are they looking for housing, but they're also looking for
Looking
places,
for jobs, just part-time.
part-time jobs that give them some spending money
Right.
while they're here. you know.
Exactly.
All right. So anybody that's out there that's, you know, could possibly provide a part-time job to one of these kids, you'd be interested in also.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep in mind, though, that the kids are on such a schedule that
They're just in
getting
and out.
back from an away game may bring them in at 2 and 3 in the morning.
Right.
And knowing 20-year-old kids, they're not up at, usually up at 7 o'clock in the next day.
Yeah.
So it's tough to get, but a lot of them
But
do have jobs.
there may be you know, painting jobs, you know,
Oh, yeah.
you know, odds and ends here and there, you know, car
Right.
wash or whatever, you know, that are available for somebody like that, you know. Let's see. Tell us about the kid clinic that's coming up on.
Coming up on June 20th, and we've been doing that for just about every year. And it's a free clinic that the Danbury Westerners, the players, all the players do come down to it. It's from 9 to 12. And they work with the kids from, I believe it's from like 5 years old up to, you know,
12,
up to 12 years old. And they put them in every position, and those guys that know those positions work with those kids on how to better play those positions. And they rotate them around. And by the end of the 12 o'clock, you know, they absolutely love it. The parents are coming up talking how wonderful it was, and the kids have learned a lot, and we'd like to do it again next year. And what we're doing this year is the first is we're going to have a summer camp the following week. The Westerners, same scenario. It'll start about 8:30 in the morning and run till about 3:30 in the afternoon, where the kids will be the same way. They'll have these guys actually teaching them. And it'd be interesting that down the line that if one of these kids does make it, the young kids can look
say
back and say,
I started at the
I
summer
started
camp.
with him and he taught me a lot.
So you do the summer camp every year? Or?
We've just started it this
Oh,
year.
just starting.
started it this year.
Okay. And the kids clinic is also you do something like that every year? Or
Every year we've been doing that, absolutely.
I skipped over one, and that is that the at these ball games you have Westy, the mascot.
Yes.
And will you tell us a little bit about what goes on at a ball game, as to how it's maybe a little more fun, or?
Well, Westy walks around and kind of gets the crowd going, and you know, doesn't speak much, but kind of walks around with the kids,
Right.
and does some of the games with them. He's actually done a lot of public appearances in the area. He's been at the library, I understand, or he's just about to be at the library this month, where he's going to do story time with the kids. So
So he reads.
he's getting around. He's doing very good.
Yes.
Sometimes the kids don't know whether it's male or female.
Yeah.
Who's
That,
Westy.
oh, okay.
But that's
I'm
part of the
assuming it
job.
was a he, but
Yeah.
and there's games. There's player autographs, and I guess you get to keep the foul balls, right?
Yeah, that's one of the nice things that these kids can do, and if you ever come down, you'll watch them
Yeah.
chase these foul balls, and it's a fight.
Yeah.
And once they get them, they actually can go up to the players during a game, and that's the beauty of it, and ask them to autograph it, and they'll pass the ball around during a game and autograph it for the kid, or if he has a shirt or whatever, they'll do it during the game,
Right.
and talk with the kids if they're not busy.
Now there's the children's Christmas parties. Are also you do something with the parties.
Well, we have had in the past some children's.
Yeah, like they come in and take a section, a stand or something, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
and they may have
Do the
Some
birthday
special
party, yeah.
birthday
We'll do
parties.
pizzas with them, and we'll do a few other things with them there, and
okay.
Westy's there. Actually, the kids get to throw out the first ball. Whoever's birthday it is gets to throw out the first ball that day, which is pretty
unique.
nice.
Yeah.
Has his picture taken with Westy, and all the kids get their pictures taken
Yeah,
with
you,
them.
you don't find that happening too much. Now, how do the Westerners go about getting their funds? Is there any state, local, or any major corporation monies? How do you, fund your baseball team?
Well, we have a...
I know you got a gate, and you can't get into the price
Yeah.
of what you charge at the gate, but I mean,
We have a suggested donation of $4
yeah
at every game, and then
Yeah.
the sponsorship for each game and sponsors that we can drum up business from during the
Yeah,
year.
I was trying to get at, you have a celebrity breakfast coming up. I didn't.
Oh, yes.
Didn't want to get into pricing,
Okay.
but yeah.
June 5th is our celebrity breakfast, and this year's speaker is Gene Michael,
Okay,
Vice President with the Yankees. I think that's his title, Senior Vice President.
right,
Over the years, we've had, like last year, we had Joe Pepitone,
right.
who came the year before. We've had Mike Torres. We've had Roy White. A lot of the Yankees. We've had
John Sterling.
John Sterling. We actually had one year, a few years ago, Joe Torre came up and spoke. So we try to get somebody that's pretty well known. It's usually the ones that are retired or whatever, that because of the schedules from the players themselves, it's very difficult.
And
try and get them.
I was there for Joe Pepitone, and he told some.
He told some very interesting stories.
to say the least. That's fun had by all.
Yeah,
Those
he had a lot of fun. He had a lot of fun there.
Now, that starts like at 7:30 in the morning.
7:30 and goes till about 9 o'clock.
Yeah. And for those a little more enthusiastic, it might be questions that'll last another half an hour or whatever.
Yeah, and they're there to they'll sign autographs, they'll sign baseballs. That's what
Right.
they're there for, and to kind of talk about these kids. Talks to these kids what it takes to make it into the majors, what you need to do, the steps you have to take.
I've been trying to do a better interview than usual because you have bats there. You want to explain the bat? I guess there's a difference between the steel bat and the wooden bats, and you got wooden bats.
Well, this is what makes the atmosphere surrounding our games, is the fact that this is as close to minor league ball as you can get.
Right.
I mean, and to come down to the park and see these 21, 20-year-old kids who want to be here, who want to take their summer off and play baseball and further their skills, and it's a wooden bat league. I mean, it's...
Is there any particular manufacturer that maybe they'll get ticked off if we say one over the other?
Well, this is a maple wood bat.
I guess what I was getting at is domestic, or are they made overseas also? I guess,
Well, I'd say they're domestic.
They're domestic.
yeah, because I don't think, even though Japan's coming up in the world.
But I think just about all the wooden bats are made in the U.S. here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you want to mention telephone numbers and the website once again. We didn't mention the telephone numbers. They can, or a telephone number that if people have questions, they want to volunteer their house for the kids to come, or they want to help out with getting them a part-time job.
Well, the real key is to get on the website. Offhand, I don't recall the numbers, but all the numbers for the host family, to contacting our general manager, to contacting our president, are on the
Well,
website.
I have numbers here, but I thought maybe you might know it, so I'd ask that question.
Okay.
So sometimes, like as they say, the lawyers, you got to know your question before you ask it, or whatever.
I thought it was a test.
Yeah, test. But I have a telephone number of 788-3408, and I also have a telephone number of, this is 203, and also this number is 203. It's 313-3024.
That's Terry Whalen, who is our general manager's phone
Okay.
number.
All
You
right.
can always contact him.
Yes. Okay. So, do we know who the celebrity breakfast speaker is going to be again?
Yeah,
I think it's
Gene Michael
Gene Michael said you said that
will be
before.
there.
Yeah.
We're also doing on June 20th, in line with the kids clinic, we're doing a vintage baseball game where we're pitting two teams from Connecticut that are going to be dressed in the 40s uniforms.
Even back further.
Even back further, and they'll be playing with the old gloves and the old rules from back then. So there's going to be a band there.
More like 1920s?
Yeah, more or less around there, yeah.
Remember when the gloves were
Are they
like...
going to have black socks? Or
the gloves were like mittens, about that size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was more like the turn of the century, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, okay.
They're going back pretty far
Yeah.
to bring these two teams in.
They must have gotten them out of the museum, right?
They did travel around the country, from what we understand, and they do a lot of these things, and they've agreed to come, and both teams are from Connecticut. One's in Bridgeport, and I think the other one's from Waterbury, and they're coming in on the 20th to play an afternoon game.
Okay. Now, could you tell us a little bit about the roster that you have this year? Any particular, as you go down and say anything, particular comments about one versus another, or the people that have joined the team? I mean, you are a counselor, right? So, are there any characters there? Anybody that's done particularly well before they came?
Two of our players, and I don't have their names offhand, have been named players of the year last year with some of the other leagues that they were involved in, and they've agreed to come play with us because of the caliber of, the quality of
the reputation.
The reputation that we've had, and the amount of our players who have actually signed major league contracts, whether it's in the minors or they've actually gone up. So we have a lot of good players, and they've started to come in this year, more to play with us.
In case, because I sometimes have a misconception in my mind, I forget from year to year on the interviews or whatever, some of the stuff comes back, and there are people out there might have the same misconceptions, and that is, these kids are college kids.
College kids from around the country.
So they did well, they played high school ball, then they went into college, and now they want to, maybe make the majors, but they're also trying to get through school at the same time. So every year, in the summertime, they're looking for this league experience.
Right.
And do you repeat people, or they got to fight for those positions?
Sometimes some of these players will come back and play again. We only take them up to their junior year because as a senior they'll graduate and they're not eligible anymore to play.
Right.
So we generally take the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors.
Right.
And some of them do, as I said, do come back. Others,
second year.
Others we just start recruiting.
Or they go to another league and you get somebody from somewhere else, like you indicated.
Yep.
We're one of 9 Major League Baseball sanctioned summer leagues in the country.
And these leagues are all over the country. Is there any special concentration? Are they more on the west and the east coast, or are they mainly in the middle grounds? And this is a unique that we have something in New England here, or?
Well, we have the 2 most famous leagues in this part of the country. One of which is ours. But I would say if memory serves me right, 2 or 3 leagues are down the eastern coast. And there's a couple out in the Midwest, and beyond that...
Where are they, like in Chicago area, or...?
Well, there's the Northwest Baseball League, which, again, I think is up in, the Minnesota area, north of Chicago, generally.
Well, it's pretty cool up there, so they...
Yeah. New York State has a baseball league.
Right.
But it's kids that come and want to play and improve their skills with wooden bats, and sometimes it's a come down for going from the metal bats to the wooden bats, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, they get up to when they first get here and they start their practices and they start hitting the balls, and
well, does metal bats hit the ball further?
Further, they'll go further, and a wooden bat.
But if you're doing well with a wooden bat, that's the way it actually is when you get to the majors.
That's what the majors are. So this is where they hone their skills and get used to a wooden bat.
So I don't understand it, except that it's like an ego thing. You're doing well with a metal bat, then you graduate the wood, but meanwhile your hitting drops off. I would think, unless you're actually playing with wood.
They actually start to get used to it after a while. It takes them a few games to get used to the wooden bats, and then you'll start seeing the home runs go.
Okay, so you were telling me about the characters that you've been dealing with.
Yeah, a lot of these guys that we've had over the years have just been, they come in and the stories they tell on their background. As you know, Joe Pepitone just started talking a lot about his antics on and off the field, and had the place.
Oh, yeah.
Had the place laughing.
Oh, yeah. I almost fell out of my chair.
Yeah, I mean, and Mike Torres really got down to talk to him about baseball and the power, and if you're a pitcher, where the power comes from, not from your arm. He told a lot of kids, it comes from your legs. He was one of the very few pitchers that ran, 10 miles every day. He said that's where the strength came from. And a lot of the pitchers, understood it. And kids today, we've heard, that have been, using that. So they're, as I said, we have been getting a lot of the Yankees, but we have a good relationship with them, and we hope to continue it.
We also got some unusual broadcasting stories from John Sterling and Steve Summers, who was one of our speakers a couple of years ago. So, like Dan said,
so you try to balance it out. You have a baseball player and you have announcers too.
Yep.
That's been over the years. You have a little bit of both.
We're also broadcasting on the internet now too. We've been doing that for a few years, and last year we just started.
What are you on YouTube?
No, it's actually you can go to the websites and you can actually listen to the game, or you can sign up and actually watch the games on the internet now. We just started that last year, and all the teams are broadcasting live on the internet.
So the people that are stuck at their house or their office and they want to see the game while they're doing paperwork, they can see the game, in between, doing their paperwork, they can watch. Yeah, that's good. Of course, you'd rather have them at the field.
We'd rather have them down there, but if they can't make it, and the away games too are broadcast live also,
right?
So they can listen to those games.
Well, they're giving me the 1 minute signal, and why don't we just either sum it up and maybe mention your website once again, and I'll mention the telephone number. I guess the one you really want me to say is this 203-313-3024.
Right, that's Terry Whalen, who's our general manager.
He's the general manager's telephone number in case you got housing or you want to help out in some way. And then the website?
Is DanburyWesterners.com.
Okay. So, do you have anything?
Well, I just want to say that the atmosphere at the games with a wooden bat, unless you go to a major league or a minor league game, you're going to experience it right here in Danbury Rogers Park, and that's the beauty of our games.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome. And I want to thank the viewers for tuning in to the Community Forum. Tune in next week, same time, same station, and I'm sure we'll have another interesting program. Good night for now, and then we'll see you then.